You are connected as the host.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. We're here for the early folks, about 2 minutes away. How you doing? How you doing? Someone told me I was hunched over. I'm hunching over in the side studio. We're getting too comfortable. I might have to return to the studio just due to the comfort. How you doing, everybody? Albert Thor, Kill the Ego, Party Bonanza, Mark, welcome everybody. Happy Monday. Got a couple things to get into with all of you. Of course, my folks here are early. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. We'll welcome everybody here in a moment. We got that going. Punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. We'll have to welcome them again in a moment. So, thank you. Lines are open as well. Very nice. Thank you, huh? And everybody else. It's pretty much time, okay? And, if someone is saying, return to the studio, please, so that we can have that intro. And I forgot. We have the tech to do it right here. So let's get on with the show.
Isn't it commendable?
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. He's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
How you doing, folks? Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm the American Anchor Baby, as you know. We got a bit of a stream for you. Excuse me, I'll use the word Anchor Baby. And hold on. Stream settings. Oh, thank you, Derek. We're getting a little note from Derek letting us know. You're seeing the number in the title. You might be used to 888-775-3773, but don't use that number. Call me at 844-900-2229 when I'm here. You'll see the number floating over here next to the snazzy window display. It's an illusion, okay? Okay, 844-900-2229. If you got something on your mind, something you want to talk about, we'll get to you, of course. Incredible. But yes, we got the Anchor Baby intro. Excuse me, I'll use the word Anchor Baby. I didn't think messing around with this Anchor Baby stuff, over the years, there's been some offense, not too deep, but people have asked, like, why do you let people call you that, etc. Anchor Baby. I thought that was silly. But in this core of the reasoning, I didn't think it was too controversial. Okay, I grew up in this country. I grew up in Canada. Grew up in the West. And so I don't care about a designation. That's merely a fact. How my parents came. One parent, remember, I'm half Anchor Baby. Genetically, I'm half Anchor Baby. One parent was already an Anchor Baby-fied citizen. So it's all in question. But look, I don't get offended by it. But I just didn't think that messing around with this, it'd be so heated. And what I'm getting at is like maybe the temperature of the country as it divides further. It's getting worse, folks. It's crazy. And we'll get into maybe some of those things. You had that guy on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, Adam Mockler, was great. And there's just some, we have the conversations here. I'd make a joke, Anchor Baby, but we never even got that deep into it because it's not offensive to me. It's not a dividing thing. I'm fine with being an American, not hyphenated. Even if it's like, you can even argue that, Nick, that's fine. But inside, I'm not going to operate like this hyphenated American with a chip on my shoulder. Okay, I don't have rights or something. Nick, they're talking about maybe removing you. It's like, no, they're not. That's not even in the conversation. That's like maybe like that's not what's happening. And it doesn't necessarily have to. Like people are bringing it up. I think Adam Mockler was bringing it up, like, or maybe not Adam, but it's come up before, segregation, etc. Jesse's talked about it. People calling me saying, you really hold these views in a diverse California? What are my views? That people should be allowed to be order themselves how they want and all that? Is that really controversial? Is that really worth protesting, being in the streets for, dividing the country and bringing about what? What's next after this? What's next after they're going after Trump, indictments and all that? Their side, they're saying it's like, they're going after Comey, Leticia. They're saying he's like a king. We'll get into maybe the Bondi thing that Mockler brought up. I thought it was kind of interesting. I'll educate myself with y'all. I take maybe too many liberties when we're here in this studio. Maybe I should educate myself beforehand, but I think we have fun doing it together. We'll do a Bondi fiasco. Is Trump going after his political enemies? But what's after all this, right? Gerrymandering. They're fighting about gerrymandering. And it's going to go to the Supreme Court, voting rights. It's bringing up all these things that maybe were talked about in the conservative circles. It was more low key. Yeah, sure, it's been rising since 2016, but these topics of freedom of association, radical freedom of association, the civil rights movement, and these are just like things that are like set in stone. They wouldn't even talk about them. And now they're all coming up again. It's like, do we agree with this? How do we want to continue this country? And boom, it's like big division. But it's coming up, right? It seems almost mainstream. Everyone's like considering the civil rights movement. Was it? Or having to a funny thing people do, maybe that's all evil. Or having to defend it, right? Having to reaffirm why we needed the civil rights movement and all that. It's like the heat, man. Turn down the temperature. Is that even something you could say? Is that just so like, is that just really naive? Maybe just turn down the temperature, guys. I mean, it's why I really appreciate Jesse's message over the years. It's always been the same, and it's so much deeper. It's deep, right? It's like, oh, no anger. Okay, Jesse, no anger. But look, they got Secret Service is finding snipers' nests. Okay, what are you gonna do? But it's always been the answer. Look how evil everyone gets. Like there's many things you can do before fighting. There's many things you can do, and you're never gonna see that with anger. And you could do all those things without anger. They'll call it, ads. Ads are. Ads have new tech here. I didn't know we got the rollover ads. And it rises in volume. Okay, snazzy. You got me there, ads. But look. We'll get to call. Well, thank you for that. We'll get to calls 844-900-2229. You might be hearing me now all of a sudden. Thank you for that. Oh, we got to keep this on because we'll lose the calls. Okay. Well, where was I? yeah, I guess I was just saying about anger, right, Jesse, and why I appreciate the message. But presenting for you here this little story, New York Post, Secret Service investigating possible sniper's nest with sightline to Trump Air Force One arrival. You might have already heard about this. But, you know, put it all together. It's like, what is next here? Like, this is crazy. Never really seen stuff like this. Attempts on the life of the president, Kirk, and all that. It's you get it. You get it. It's an angry place. The world is an angry place. So yeah, I know. I guess I hope. I'm just really reporting this. One thought comes to mind about Trump and his attitude, just being tough. I don't know how tough you gotta be. It's like, but you gotta be tough, right, in the face of this kind of stuff, so that it doesn't go crazy. You know, they can't just, even if they don't like Trump or whatever, you know, you gotta follow the rules. You can't agitate and all that, but you get it. They're fighting this in the Supreme Court. Where does this go? Where does this go? They call me and they say, "Oh, you're segregating." What is, right? This one-track mind of segregate. You're racist. What do you want to do? Just separate people? It's like, no, I want people to be where they want to be. Like, why do you? Why do you want people that don't want to be together? You want them to fight? So anyways, look, we'll get into a number of things here. Where was I? I want to get to my calls here. Thank you. We'll get to you, 844-900-2229. But, you know, he was bringing up things real quick. This is really all let me pull this up. He was bringing up this stuff about Mockler. I'm thinking of Adam Mockler now. He was on the JLP show. Great stuff to have someone to disagree. It's always great. And talking about going after his enemies, that Trump is doing that. And the No Kings protests and all that, to just kind of wrap this up. Really, to summarize, we'll get into some of this in a moment, actually. But to summarize, the whole idea of the No Kings thing is going after his enemies, some dictator. It's a bit of like over-exaggeration on their part, and it's a bit of Trump, a man had to do certain things here. And they'll call it unprecedented, like working with the DOJ and saying, here's the thing, they're saying that he accidentally posted something where he didn't mean to post this, directing Pam Bondi to go after people. But here's the thing, Trump has been a very open and transparent guy, posting over and over again on his truth for years. The election was this and that. They went after me wrongly. Obama did it. Comey did it, naming them, saying they should be indicted. They're criminals. Something should happen. So it's not like this clandestine thing, and he's like, whoa, he's colluding with the DOJ. He's been saying this. And yes, it's like unprecedented that a president in the executive branch, with the DOJ is part of, yeah, I get it. They're separate in a sense. You can't like go and say, be easy on these guys, go hard on these guys. But put it like this. He's telling them to go after criminals. They went after him wrongly. First, they started. And then, they'll say, oh, no president in many years has done this. But you got to remember, people like for example, Mockler was saying, Biden didn't direct his Attorney General Merrick Garland to go after people like that. He didn't have to. They're already united. They were already united in their vendetta against whites and all that. Remember, Merrick Garland was like the worst terrorism, the like biggest threat to America is like white terrorism, and Biden, you know, he's on this wing, and Biden over here saying we're gonna let an unrelenting stream of these people. We got to be diverse because, you know, all this stuff. So, you know, we'll get to calls here in a moment, but that was pretty much what I had here for opening. What was on my mind, and finally the whole No Kings thing, right? What the answer to that is the mandate he has, the numerous election he's won. We'll leave it like that. We can extrapolate further, but let's not be long-winded here. great Monday to have you all back. 844-900-2229. I want to get to my calls. I want to get to the super chats and more stuff here. But what can I say, folks? It's a pleasure to have you back. Hope your weekend was nice and all that. Let's remove this thing in the background. Thank you, flight attendants. Make sure our passenger screens are updated. We removed the function to chat with each other directly. You know, seat chat on the plane. It's like, you guys are crazy. Like, we give you we can't have nice things. It was like, I can't even tell you what you guys were sending each other. It was like, N-bomb this. It was like, who's in seat 39? Like, what the? So we had to end that. We had to end the direct seat-to-seat chat. We can't have nice things. But that's how it goes, okay? Well, we'll get to everybody. Amazing. Look, 844-900-2229. I think I have somebody out from Michigan. Let me know what's your name and where are you calling from. You said Alan? I do, man. For sure. Thanks for your call. Welcome back. A pleasure. All is well. Thank you, man. Happy Monday. All right.
Which is
hold on here, Alan. My apologies. I appreciate your patience for me. My apologies. I had you muted for my stream here, but we're welcoming Alan from Michigan, folks. Thank you so much again for calling us back. And you were listening to the show for a bit. And you just had one question for me, essentially, is what you just said, right?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hearing you loud and clear, man. Go ahead. Thanks.
All right. Cool. Great. No, I just want to make sure my service is kind of horrible. Okay, so I called in a couple days ago. I had a question for you. Do you remember what that question was?
Man, I remember you had a lot of questions. We had two extended conversations.
You're right. We ended up actually having a pretty good conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got.
Remind me what you're thinking of.
So I'm just gonna make sure, confirm a couple of things. Who'd you vote for I'm assuming I know who you voted for in the 2024 election, but I might as well just check.
GWH.
Is it? Yeah. What was that?
The big GWH. You know what I mean?
Who's GWH?
The Great White Hope. My bad. I thought I was clear. I thought it was obvious. But not everybody knows. Not everybody knows.
Donald Trump?
The Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You're not familiar. No. I mean, what? He's great.
Like
he's a great man,
like
making America great again, and all that. He's a white man. He's a white man of strength, power, Christian man. And what else can I say? He's bringing hope to America.
That's fair. Okay.
We had to have fun chat. We had to have fun chat. He has no idea about the terminology, but we're inculcating you, sir. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. Yeah, I've never heard that before. I'll look into that. Most definitely.
Yeah.
So you voted for the fellow. I hear you. You're talking about like Trump saying that there's criminals that he wants to prosecute. So I mean, I'm down with that. I don't think the criminals should be in politics. You know, and I know that a lot of them are doing shady shit behind the closed doors, and I think that we should reveal it. You know, on either side. You know what I'm saying? I don't like seeing shady people in politics. So I got a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think? Yeah. So you voted for Trump in November, right?
Yes, I did.
He was, and I'm going to say this, and this is not a gotcha. I'm just asking because I asked you this last time. You didn't know the answer. I'm wondering if you looked it up. He was convicted of felonies in the year prior. Can you tell me what those felonies were? Because I agree. Criminals should not be in politics. If you say that, like, Pam Bonnie's talking about all these like old people in Congress that Trump said he wants to go after, that's fine with me. I just want to make sure that you know exactly what the guy that you voted for was accused and convicted of. Do you know? Just really quickly, because I don't want you to look it up.
No, off the you know, there was the New York thing.
Do you
Look, I'm
have
familiar
any
with all the
idea
bogus.
Of what
Wait,
the, no,
you
no,
want
but
me
it's
to
not.
respond?
No, but do you understand
do you want me to respond now?
the like general topic?
No, I mean you
Yeah, but
haven't
don't
even
just say
heard a
it's
single
bogus. I
response.
mean, yeah, okay, go
you
for it,
asked
then.
you asked me if I knew the nature of his felony counts, right?
Yeah, it's about like a
Is that what you asked me?
man.
You said what?
Yeah, but you can say it really quickly.
Well, I was trying to tell you.
There's no need
You,
to
you
say,
cut
like,
me
it's
off the
bogus or
moment I
not.
started speaking. But anyways, I'm
Okay,
somewhat
fair
familiar. I'm somewhat familiar. We were covering it over time. Everybody knows me. I gotta like recall it a bit, but let me just kind of remember. I mean, look, it was the New York. It was all bogus stuff, man. It was like 34 counts. They call it 34 counts of falsified business records. Remember that? They kept saying that. 34 counts of falsifying business
they did keep
records.
saying that.
Now you remember, it was, and then there was the thing about the falsifying business records. It was because of the Stormy Daniels, right? They called it hush money, right? They called that stuff hush money, and it was so phony
They
because it was so phony because where has she been hushed? She's been talking before, talking after. Remember, the point is they call it hush money, which is a misnomer. They call it hush money to call what is a legal contract between what was Stormy Daniels. It was a legal contract. She had agreed, and we don't know for what. They say it's hush money because to not speak for what, but it was a legal contract to NDA or whatever to not speak about certain things. She got paid, man. And what does she go do? She goes and gets an unhushes or whatever. So there's no hush money. And by the way, those felonies, now it's all coming back to me. Thanks for letting me work this out. Those counts.
Are you sure you didn't just look it up?
No, it's coming back to me. This is kind of how I remember doing my show a bit, so it's kind of coming back to me.
Word.
Tell me if I'm wrong about something. You're welcome to have the floor in a moment. But you asked me a question.
No, I'm just letting you respond.
Thank
I'm
you.
letting you finish.
This is good. This is 34 counts. Remember, it wasn't about the hush money. It was some like. It wasn't even about that. Remember it was about falsifying business records, which was like some deep. It was some like deep lawfare to go after him. And what did we get at the end of it? Remember, what was the big conclusion? Because let's just assume it was all not lawfare and going after him, and there's so many doing the same thing, but you're really going to go after him just because you hate him and all that stuff. Stop him from the real motivation of stop him from doing his job. Let's say none of that happened. What do we get? What's the big felon we get left with? Some guy who falsified business records and he's bringing back the country. Yeah, you know what? I'm fine with that. I'll call that no big deal. In terms of who's like this big criminal. Okay. He's like a pretty stand-up guy and been trying to follow the law all the way through. Is there other felony stuff? My apologies. I wanted to give you a. I didn't know that I knew that much about it, and it kept coming out. So.
Are you sure you didn't just look it up?
No, positive. Yeah. So.
Why didn't you have an answer for me last time, man? You said I don't know. You said a very solid I don't know last time.
You asked me about this?
Yeah, I've been asking everybody.
I don't remember you asking me about specifically him being a felon and the nature of his felonies and all that.
All right, fair enough. Oh, maybe you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So yeah,
okay.
What else was there? Something else?
Were you aware? Yeah. So first of all, I want to hear your opinion on this. You said that it would to stop him from doing his job. He was not actually in office at the time of the trial or the conviction.
Right, but like he was gonna be running for president.
He didn't even announce that he was running yet by the time that the trial started.
But I mean, everybody knows he's gonna run.
Well, you know,
it's a matter of an enemy that you have to overwhelm, even if it's like, okay, he wasn't running, but we're gonna go after him. We're gonna make sure he never runs again. We're gonna make sure he doesn't have the backing. We're gonna drain his money so he can't self-fund like he did and all that. Come on, man.
So you do not think? So you will not take any evidence from this court case because you think that it was a why?
No, I didn't say it was a lie.
If
I may, though, I didn't say it was a lie. I'm thinking it was maybe lawfare. Very many do say, but I even gave you the caveat of like if it wasn't like lawfare, you're telling me this big felon. You like your big gotcha is you voted for a felon. Your big gotcha is he falsified business records. Okay, you mean like how Biden did? Remember how they found all those records? Remember how they found that he kept records and all that, and he did the same thing that Trump did. And they were going after Trump for that, but they didn't touch Biden?
Do
you remember that?
You can't. That's a false equivalent, dude. And I just want to make sure that we're on
Some
the same
kind of
page about this
equivalence.
because I don't want to argue with you.
No. I
No,
don't
don't
want to
dodge
argue.
this. Don't dodge this.
Please go
I
ahead.
got
The
things
floor is
for you,
yours.
man. Okay, so you're aware of that. You called him a good Christian man. Does a good Christian man, because, okay, it's not some witch hunt, dude. It might have been a witch hunt in the beginning, but at the end of the day, I mean, he was convicted by a jury of peers in a court of law through a long, arduous 6-month process. And if it was a witch hunt, at least one of those judges that looked over that case would have thrown it out. And I think it's kind of insane. Maybe not insane, but I think it's foolish to assume that you are automatically willing to discredit other people because Trump said they may be a criminal when they don't even have any criminal proceeding or indictment on them. But you're automatically willing to throw out the Trump case because, oh, it's lawfare, they're just trying to take him down for no reason. When you can say the same thing about any of the shit, right?
Try to keep
And
it
also
clean.
just
Do you
because
see
I
the
think
clouds?
that
The
that's kind of
clouds are
stupid doesn't
daytime
mean that
clouds.
I think Biden's okay.
And I want to respond, but
Also, I
keep
just wanna make sure
keep
that
it
we're on the
clean
same
for our
page.
viewers, because you see how the clouds are daytime. We're flying in the daytime, and everybody's got like their business suits on, and maybe at nighttime we'll let people swear a bit, but keep it clean for our viewers.
Oh, did I swear? Oh, okay, my bad. Well, then I'll just say it as clear as possible. Does a good Christian man, you just called him a good Christian man, the Great White Hope.
Yeah.
Did they commit adultery?
You said what?
Can a good Christian man, can a man that commits adultery be a good Christian man?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
But like what, a gay guy can't?
Of course you can. Of course you can. You said a gay guy?
Yeah. Well, okay. So what's your
Yeah,
thoughts? How does someone become?
Who
a
did
good
Jesus
Christian?
talk to? Didn't he talk to all sorts of crazy people, man. Now, not everybody understood. Not everybody agreed. They stayed that way. They stayed an adulterer, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't repent, but absolutely. What are you talking about?
So you think that it doesn't even have anything to... Are you a Christian?
Yes. I'll say yes. Yes.
So you're willing to just completely disregard
Wait.
all of the shit that he's saying?
Well, you didn't...
It's okay to...
Allow me to
it's
say
okay
what
to
I just
like
said
him.
in
I
a
don't care if
different
you
way.
like
I
the
mean...
guy. I just...
You don't believe gay people can be Christian?
No, I do.
And why? And go ahead and tell me your reasoning.
Because I think that anyone can do whatever the fuck they want as long as they're actually
Keep it clean,
following
man.
the faith. I think it's... Oh, my bad.
We're
No, I
gonna
think
get
it's
TSA on you when we
disingenuous
land.
Okay. I
I'm just saying.
can't
It's a legal
see
thing.
the,
It's a legal
the-
thing. It's
I
not
can't
personal.
see the correlation between a man that was, regardless of if you think that the case was played off or played up or whatever. I mean, it's legal.
No,
it's
you
more
keep saying.
legal than all the claims he's been making lately. Hear me out. And
I
that,
know you're saying
that
this
is
again.
what
You're
we'll say
repeating.
in the
But go ahead.
history book. Okay, but why are you willing? It was off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it was $420,000.
Yeah, I'd like to answer.
And yeah, falsifying business records. Oh boy, scary. It's still a crime. It's still a felony in the state of New York. And what he was doing it for is to pay. I don't care if it's a legal contract. It's a legal contract in private, using money that he was not supposed to use.
And
That is a
she
crime,
agreed- and she
regardless
wants-
of if Stormy Daniels.
Oh, come on.
It doesn't matter what she did. It matters what
Of course it does.
a prominent New York businessman and president of the United States did.
But it matters
He
because
used
it's
money
about
that he was
characterizing
not
it, which
supposed
is you're
to
doing
pay
it
a porn star.
right. You're
Why
doing
would
that
you-
all wrong.
I just don't understand how you can still.
You don't
see
have
him as a
evidence
good
for that.
Christian man. A good Christian man would have owned up to this.
But you don't have evidence
He
for
never
that.
did. He still hasn't.
You don't have evidence.
We
for what
don't
you're
have
saying.
evidence.
No, you don't. You keep saying things that you don't know
Dude,
to be
you
true.
you can look. They publish the cases like publicly.
I'm familiar, man.
You can
But
just go and
we don't have to
watch any of
rehash
the
that. You were
footage.
asking. You keep making this thing about then and then we'll try and move on here. But look, you keep making this. I was quite reasonable actually responding to you about this felony thing. Okay, he's a felon. He's a felon. I was quite reasonable in like allowing in no point. Here's what to summarize. You're saying like that I completely dismissed the law, but in no way did I say that. I'm saying it's lawfare. You could say that it fits a legal thing. They didn't like make something up in a sense. Like I'm being quite reasonable in that, and even that I don't personally hold on to. But in being reasonable with that, that's not me saying at all that, oh, I completely dismiss any law here. No, it's like the motivation, and you don't believe it. You hang on like a technicality. Oh, he wasn't running at the time, but he was and remains their political opponent, enemy, and so that's what this was for. Okay, and you could see it a different way. But to give you that at the end, what do you leave? What do you get left with your gotcha of he's a felon? Oh, he falsified records. Look, it's just not hitting, man. But go ahead.
I just find it odd that a lot of people have voted for a guy without even realizing what the charges were.
No, I think people are aware. But do you have another question, sir? I think we felt you called him a felon. I gave you my response.
So you do not.
What was on your mind? What was your question?
I just want to make sure that you're Great White Hope. So you're fine. So do you accept the trial? Do you accept the convictions? Do you think they were legal?
No. They're
okay,
motivated.
So
they're not motivated. They're motivated by
no reason
political lawfare.
Conversation with you. Okay.
Why?
There's lawfare. I mean, it was
I'm telling you clearly why.
So
you can disagree, but
you think that Trump's
political.
DOJ would do any better?
What?
Yeah, but it's not. But it's not political for Pam Bondi and all of these Truth Social posts calling everyone he doesn't like a criminal.
But what's wrong about that?
Prosecute Obama.
What's wrong about that?
But he has no. There's no even. Yeah, it's an accusation. We're allowed to make accusations. It's the best country in the It's the best country in the fucking world. Hecking world. Sorry.
Thank
We're
you,
allowed
sir.
to say whatever we want. We're allowed to make accusations. We're allowed to do what you want. Don't mean nothing until it's proven in a court of law, though.
Well, that's what the point. That's what this is for. That's what the DOJ's doing.
Yeah, but they haven't yet. So I find it odd that you're willing to discredit these politicians based on an accusation, but you're automatically willing to throw out.
But I've seen them operate. I've seen them go after him for literally everything. But you know.
Yeah, but does that mean that he really needs to fight fire with fire by just making other things up?
But how do you
if
believe
so bad,
what you're
why
saying?
Can't he just prove the evidence right now?
But how do you believe what you're saying when you just finished saying that he's not wrong for what he's doing? Specifically making accusations as a free man on his Truth Social, which he's been doing forever, and you want to call it it's wrong or evil and working with the DOJ.
No, I don't.
All of a sudden,
evil to say these things.
But you said that. You said you were fine with that. You said that that's not wrong for him to do that. In the greatest country of the world,
he's allowed to do it legally. He's allowed to do it legally under the.
So then, tell me what's wrong with this whole thing with Pam Bondi and Trump. Tell me then what's wrong about it.
I think that it's wrong that he is willing to weaponize these accusations. I think it's wrong that you're willing to take those into account when judging.
In what way is he weaponizing stuff?
But you're willing to dismiss what?
In what way is he weaponizing and all that? How you said?
There's a lot of genuine people out here that now for real think that Obama is a actual criminal, that he was actually convicted, and I think that it's odd that he would continue to play up this narrative that the Democrats are.
In what way is he weaponizing?
Their day is coming.
In what way is he weaponizing?
I just explained.
Oh,
I think
that was the answer. My bad. Going after me
and a crook. No. I think that calling all of your political enemies a crook and a coward and all of these mean words, while you're technically legally allowed to say it, I think that
was it a crook when Obama went after him and spied on him?
No, not
Why
legally.
Not?
What do you mean?
Why not?
If Obama, okay, so you had 4 years to do this stuff, and you're gonna have 4 years more to actually prove your point that Obama spied, right? Why?
Or the FBI or whatever. Okay, right? What's the argument?
Yeah,
allegedly Obama, but it was the FBI. Whatever.
But if you think that it's a Democrat cover up,
then the FBI. Don't you agree with going after them?
Why haven't you done anything about it?
Oh my God! So because that's the claim, right? I'm right about that, right? It's okay, maybe it's not Obama. Allegedly, Obama is the FBI. So then, whatever. Are you agreeing with that premise at least?
No. But I'm saying that those are accusations, while Trump has actually been convicted, and you're willing to throw out the Trump conviction as no big deal, but you're willing to automatically discredit the people that he's been accusing. That's hypocrisy, dude. And it's okay. We're allowed to do that sometimes. But can you admit that that's maybe not the best way? You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't hear it.
then there's no way to have a rational conversation.
I may have missed it,
I love
man.
you, and I appreciate you talking with me.
No, I may have
swear
missed
to
it.
you, one day you're gonna look back at this. This guy's gonna be dead by the time you're 50. I mean, like, you're gonna look back at this and have no idea what's going on.
You don't like what he's doing?
There's not gonna be a Do I not? I think that there's some good things that he's doing, but at the end
Like
of the
what?
day, when all of this shit is summarized,
Like what?
look, I'm gonna like what?
You said you like some
I
of the
don't
things he's doing. Like what?
I don't like the fact that the president of the United States. I don't like the fact that any politician is willing to.
You said
spend money
you
on
like some of
top.
the things he's doing, no?
I did say that.
And like what?
Shit, man. You know what? Oh my god. Because I'm a bit of an odd duck on my side of the fence. Because I have like weirdly conservative views sometimes. But yeah, actually, he really hasn't done anything for that shit. Wow.
What'd you
Oh
say?
man, you didn't get me. I think you actually just made it worse.
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
think
trying to
I've done
get
a
you.
single
I don't know
thing
what
you've
you're
done the
saying.
last
I'm
month
kind
that I'm
of
actually,
a little
like,
hard
down
to
with.
hear you. No, I'm not trying to get you.
Oh.
I just heard you say you liked what. I was wondering what.
I
Because
don't
now
think
I'm
I
starting to
can name a
gather
single
that
thing
you're
you've
like you
done
just
in
said
his
you're an
second
odd duck or
term.
something. I'm starting to gather that myself. Like, what kind of voter are you? No, I would have just wanted to know. I'm not trying to get
I
you. man.
voted across the aisle. I vote for a specific people, not ideology.
Oh yeah. And did
I
you
vote for the
grow?
way
You
that
grew
they're
up
gonna
in
do
Michigan?
things. I did.
Oh, not. And you grew up with like conservative parents and all that.
I did.
They're like religious and all that.
No.
Oh, they're not. They're like, what are they, like atheists or something?
No.
Oh, you didn't grow up like in a Christian household or whatever. You said I think I remember you saying you were white. Are you?
I am.
Oh, true. Say shout out, white.
Hey, how does this have shout out? Did you say shout out white?
Yeah.
Are we serious?
What?
Why does that mean it? Why would that give? Why are you shouting out my race, dude? What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Why
You
does it
just said
matter?
you're white.
Why
I'm
does
like
it
shout
have anything to do
out.
with what we're talking about?
I don't know. You said it. What's the
Are
big?
you racist? Are you like a white supremacist?
I just
That's
said
a
shout
serious
out. What's
question.
wrong? That was a positive thing. What was negative about that? That was like pure positivity. Like it was just like great. It was like good.
It's a complete non sequitur.
You don't?
I'm not
Are you?
going
You
around
don't
to
want
every white
positivity
people I
to
know and
whites?
going white.
Why do you want negativity to whites?
No,
I was just saying positive. What's wrong with that?
You
I was
guys
just like, shout
not
out. What's wrong
say
with it?
anything because
So if I said shout
Look,
out blacks, like if someone
alright.
called me and they're like, "Hey, I'm black," and I'm like, "Shout out blacks, let's go." What happened there?
yeah, I think that's weird too.
Why? Race
Because
is
it's
like
an odd thing
race
to
is like
say.
a
Why
super
would you-
common
why would you
topic
immediately
nowadays.
judge-
Literally, everyone's literally the group, the private chats left and right. They're all talking like this, and you want to pretend like I don't know. How old are you?
The private chats left and right.
Literally
What are you
everybody-
talking about? Are we serious?
Wait,
The
no.
private chat? Are
No,
you
like,
kidding
wait,
me? The private chat?
Come on, man! Like it's become quite
Did you
mainstream
just
to talk
use-
about
did you
race,
just use
and I'm being
another-
positive here in this
What are we
world,
talking
and you're
about? You
like,
think
bro,
that
that's
all black
weird.
People in group chats are going black power every 5 minutes.
Not black power, but
I've never
they're
heard a
speaking
black person
openly. They're
say,
not
"Go
saying they're not
black."
stopping themselves from being racist with each other. And you're stuck in some old thing. How old are you? I'm wondering.
What?
Why are you saying what?
Why? You keep asking me these questions.
They call
Why
my
do these
show.
questions
They're in
matter?
my Discord. I go to the leftist discourse. It's the same way. They're not saying everything the right is
They're
saying,
going-
but they're speaking
they're-
freely, and they're not policing their language to some weird racism thing. And so now I'm wondering, how old are you?
Wait, no, are you serious? I need to just ask.
How old are you?
That has nothing to do with this conversation. I'll tell you if you really want
I
to
mean,
know.
we're
but
two
what
people
is-
talking.
I
I
would
was,
like you to tell me
you
what
know
it
about
has to do
me.
with this conversation.
You know, I'm an anchor baby. I got to know you a little bit. Michigan. You know, grew up. Now I'm
No, I
religious.
actually
You
don't know
said
anything about you. I don't know where you are. I don't know how old
California. You know, I'm in LA. We learned that last call. You were like,
you are. Oh, I do remember that. How old are you?
Yeah. I'm 30 something.
How old
I
are you?
forget. 30, 31. How old am I, chat? I stopped counting.
What?
I'm 31, I think.
Nice. Are you married?
You said what?
Are you married?
No. Come on. What's your turn? How old
Do
are
you have a
you?
girlfriend?
Hey.
No, I'm 22.
I have
Do you have a girlfriend?
I have a sweet little apocalypto lady waiting for me at home.
What does that mean?
Don't worry about it. Hey, how old are you?
I'm gonna take that as a no. I'm 22.
Shout out. Is that weird?
Yes. It
Why?
makes you sound like a robot.
I like 22-year-olds. Shout out 20, like positivity. Why is it so wrong to be positive
Okay,
to
what
white
is
people?
the actual likelihood if a black guy called you right now and you said, "Are you black?" and he said yes, would you actually?
I literally
say,
do it all the
yeah,
time.
Shout out.
My chat knows I'm black. They say I'm black. So don't talk to me like that.
I don't think you're black.
Everybody knows.
Are you black?
Yeah.
What do you have in here? You got a little.
You don't believe me, do you? Here, I'm gonna pull up my ancestry.
Well, you're not a pure white. I'll tell you that much.
This guy. You're watching the stream, right? Ancestry. Our website is unavailable. What? Where did my DNA go? Chad, I was gonna show him my African DNA, but
yeah. Wait. What is?
You'll have to
you
tune
can
in
just
next
tell me
time,
then.
and I'll
What is
show
your,
you.
What is your racial ancestry?
3% African, but mostly Iberian
3%?
Peninsula.
That doesn't count.
Mostly Iberian Peninsula and
you're straight from Iberia.
and like Colombia and like Colombia area. You know, those
cool.
those indigenous. You know, those people with indigenous malice. You know.
Yeah, I almost had it. Shit. All right, word. Good for you. I didn't think about that at all until you brought it up.
Why did I ask you about your age?
That's
Oh yeah,
what I was
because
saying,
you were
yeah.
like, "Am I racist for shouting out white people?" Why is it wrong to be positive about white people and then we'll move on?
No. That was just a separate
Why is it
question.
wrong to be positive towards white people? Tell me. Do you love white people?
There's nothing wrong with being positive. There's nothing wrong with being positive towards white. I didn't say that.
Do you love white people?
I love some white people. I love people in
Do you
my
love
life.
white? Do you love white people?
All white people?
Do you
No,
love
I'm
white
saying I don't
people?
love all black people or all Muslims or all anybody because I don't know them.
No,
What are you
that's
talking
right. You're not a Christian. You're supposed to love all people. Did you grow up like in a Jewish household? I'm not understanding. Or is it just like secular and
I'm supposed
atheist?
to love all people? Do you
Yes, sir.
love all people?
You never heard that? Maybe you grew up in like an atheist household. It
Do
wasn't
you
Jewish.
actually love all people? I'm not Jewish.
Okay, cool, man. Nice. That's interesting.
I don't-
So conservative
okay,
household,
you know-
but not religious.
Yeah, I mean, I went to church
Michigan.
on Easter and like Christmas, but like not.
Shout out, let's go Christmas.
I can't say I like went to church. I've been reading back up on my Bible lately. I haven't really been.
What
I don't
makes
know, I
you?
haven't
What
been
made you do
connecting
that?
in the way that I thought I would. Just felt like it.
Over and what'd you?
Free will.
That's a true say. You say free will. Chad, he's about to open up a can of
That's
worms. He's about
What are you
to.
talking- whoa.
This guy's talking about free will. This guy's talking about like he's making decisions. No,
What
no.
do you mean? Wait, you
That's-
saying that I didn't use free will to download
mean
a
to
Bible app on my phone and start
I didn't
reading
mean to
and
say
put
that
fucking
because that's not really my
person?
wheelhouse. But
A free will?
free will is
Do
an
you not
interesting
believe in free
thing.
will?
Well, let me ask you this.
Oh, are you a predeterminist? That's fine
I
if
don't
you
know.
are. I'm just curious.
I don't know what that means, but no, I don't call myself that. That
Do you
might.
think that God predetermined our entire lives? Like,
I don't
do you
know,
think that
but-
we,
but
we
I
already
really don't
had our
know.
life planned out for us?
I wasn't there, but let me ask you this. Chad, let's hit him with the chat. Let's hit him with the. He's totally fresh. We're gonna point towards Jesse too. I've told you about Jesse Lee Peterson, but check this out. Do you create your own thoughts?
Yes,
So you create all of your thoughts.
unequivocally, yes. They might not be all original thoughts, but I'm the one thinking them.
All right, so you're thinking. Do you have like bad thoughts?
Yes.
Why?
Why?
You're the creator of thoughts with all this free will, and you're inflicting bad thoughts on yourself. Help me understand.
Yeah, because we have anxieties and fears, and we sometimes feel bad about ourselves. Sometimes we stress about things that aren't worth stressing about. Sometimes we don't stress about things that are worth stressing about, and it comes to bite us back in the ass. Sometimes we go through breakups. Sometimes we have heartbreak. Sometimes a person dies, and we have to grieve through it.
But
That's why
why?
we have bad thoughts. Why
But
do
you
we have
just
that?
said let's
I
start
just
with
named all the
anxiety. Let's
reasons.
start with anxiety. Why would you, as the creator of thoughts with free will, give yourself anxious thoughts to
So
give you
that
anxiety?
actually comes. So that isn't our fault. Wait, do you think that we choose to have anxiety? And like depression and schizophrenia, do you think it's a choice?
I think in a certain way, yes. In a certain way,
You think it's
yes.
a choice to have schizophrenia?
Look, put
Because
it like this. I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this.
Control these thoughts.
I'll put it like this. I don't think people wake up out of their bed deciding I want to be schizophrenic. So no, I don't think people get up out of their bed and want to be barely any of what people say they are. Sad, depressed, anxious, addicted, or really, I really don't believe that people want those things. But yet, I do think people have fallen in love with their evil and their hell, and they do get like a thrill, and it's like a cycle you really don't want to get out of. But that's all. That's different than decide. Yeah, man.
What about so the suicide rate for white men?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We won't get to that.
No, we'll get to that.
They get out of it a lot, man. If you're counting that as good now, they get
we'll get
a
to
lot.
that. Alan, we'll get to that.
All of those people.
You asked about we'll get to that.
What are you talking about?
We were somewhere though. Why would you give yourself anxious thoughts?
You're saying that they have accepted their evils and that they like dip into it.
We'll get to that. Why would you
they don't wanna
create
get out of
anxious
it.
thoughts, Alan? If you have free will and are the creator of anxious thoughts.
We don't create anxious thoughts.
So you're not the creator of thoughts.
Typically, most of the time, it comes from chemical imbalances.
So the chemical imbalance is in control, not your free will.
Do you control if you get cancer?
Is the chemical imbalance in control or your free will?
It has nothing. Those are separate things.
Is the chemical imbalance in control or your free will?
In certain circumstances, people will have chemical imbalances. They will change their thought processes. Yeah.
Is your chemical imbalance in control or your free will?
In certain circumstances, the chemical imbalance can change the way that we think. Yes.
So ultimately, which is in control?
When I decide that I want to go get a pizza, that's free will.
And so does your chemical imbalance stop your free will ever?
Yes.
And so which one's in control? Is your will then free? Is your will then totally free as you thought it was?
No, I never said that we're totally
I rest
free.
my case. I'm sorry, Chad, I had to do it.
You rest your case? Wait,
yeah,
what?
you just agreed. You said
That's
you
your
said
case? Your
yeah,
case is
you don't have free will, or you don't really
like,
know. You didn't, or at least you admit your will is not as free as you thought it was. Ain't that interesting, huh?
Okay, so a person gets cancer and he's sad about that. Does that count as taking away his free will?
Can you repeat that?
A man gets diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and he is sad and gets depressed about it. Do you think that that's an indictment against his free will? Or do you think that it's just a logical response to overwhelming stimuli of, oh my god, I'm going to die? I don't think it has anything to do with free will, man. I think it has everything to do with the situation. I have free will when I decide to
I mean,
open
even
a
in the
book and read.
situation you're describing, you're telling me yourself that that person in your hypothetical, this cancer patient, is at the mercy of his situation. So where's the free will in that? I'm not indicting him. You did in your own example.
In that scenario, yeah.
You did in your own
2
example.
weeks
He
prior to
said
the diagnosis.
he's just reacting to his pain and his diagnosis, so he's subject to something else as well. So, I mean, I didn't indict him. You did in your example. Don't you agree?
Him choosing to take his kids to Disney World after the diagnosis to make sure he spends time with them, I think that's free will.
Right, but don't you see how you indicted him yourself in your example? He was subject.
I can't tell if you're joking. Are you joking?
I'm not joking. Don't you see the logic in that? You
Okay.
said that he was subject to his to his pain and all that. So where was the free will in your example?
It depends on the situation.
Man, Alan, I'm having too much fun talking to you, man. Hey.
What do you? Okay.
We gotta go.
I gotta go.
Yeah. What do we leave it off on? I think that's everything. That's all I had to ask you, sir. Alan, can you call me again?
I might.
Nice, Alan.
How often?
My possible
how
Christian
often
brother
do
in
you do
Michigan.
these streams?
You said what?
How often do you do these streams?
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific, around there.
Mhm.
And then on Friday, I'm trying to do later streams on the weekends, but I've been saying that, so. But thanks.
Well, good luck.
Sir, call me again.
I hope.
Hey,
I wish you
and
well.
did you check out Jesse Lee Peterson?
No.
You're about to get inculcated into a whole new world, Alan.
Jesse G. Lee Peterson. Let's
It's
check
a whole
out,
new
just
world.
American commentator, Christian minister.
I'm on his network.
Oh. Okay.
Alan, shout out to you, man. Call me again.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Peace. 844-900-2229. New Jersey on the air. Who do we have on the air? Go ahead.
Ross, hey, how you doing, Nick?
What's up, Ross? Thanks for your call. All's well.
Good. I was calling today because you're talking about all these different things, and I was thinking like more along, are we a circle or a square? Right? Remember I was talking to you before about tubes?
I think I do. Yeah, I kind of remember this. Help me, remind me.
Well, we were talking about everything's transmitted through a tube. So basically we go through our father's tube when we leave the old two worlds that are down below, right? They're the nasty hot spot that we have to live before we get transferred to our mother. So
it was some deep wordplay, if I remember correctly.
Right. Well, when we leave our mom, we go through a round tube, right, into the baby, and then the baby's born through the round tube, your belly button, where we get fed our food and all our information. But the
portal.
problem is,
Yep.
when
Portals
we go,
everywhere.
When we go, what's that?
Please go on. Ignore me.
Well, when we go to school and then we get educated by the box, the TV or the TV or the school are both square boxes, and they end up putting the square on top of your head, and then you're built to fit into society, and we lose the circle that we once were with God, and we end up being a box and learning from inside the house instead of outside where God lives.
That feels like you're describing how I was raised. Google raised me. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The younger generation has got raised by the Google box, by the computer box. The older generation, the boomers, we got raised by the TV box, and then the middle group got raised by the gaming box.
Google my daddy.
So, what's that?
Google is my father. I never met my father.
Well,
Google is my father.
He's actually the Google is the alphabet, and the computer is the numbers, because we've been taken down to a 0 and a 1 actually by the computer, right?
Yes.
So we get put into a number category, which is our zip code, where we live, our house box number, where we live, and we're all categorized out by numbers and letters. So when we take those numbers and letters and put them together, that creates a life. And you're just seeing it through the eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and all your senses, what a human carries. You're putting a picture together for a person inside.
So how does one you're describing this box life where you've born through the circle or whole at one point, forced to be in this box world. How does one overcome such a thing?
Well, to fit into society, you got to be conformed to the box.
Right.
That's what that's what all old traditions are. The pyramid box, the circle box, the square box. You, as an individual, will either pick out a box to fit into, or you'll fit out a color to work under. And we look at the world in a different way. We take the colors and we use them against one another, where they're actually a landscape of one another. But because we go into one world, which may be a fantasy world for some of us, and other people it's the real world, but is TV fantasy, or is the outside the real world?
How do we overcome the fantasy, Ross?
By getting up with God every day, the sun. He turns on the switch, working with the light, sleeping at night when you're supposed to be sleeping, not out causing mischief. And get your dreams, get your prayers, and then every night, and then get up in the morning again and work with God again with the light.
Shout out, Ross. Nice. Has that helped you?
Get into the moon. What's that?
Has that helped you in life?
Absolutely. I've been getting up, fighting with the sun every day to try to work. But, you know, you get beat down by the sun after 40 years in the desert. So
you still
you
fighting?
Look at life a little bit. What's that?
Are you still fighting?
Every day. You got to.
In what way?
The minute you. In what way?
Yeah. How do
Because
you fight
if you
every
lay
day?
down and give up. Because if you lay down and give up, your muscles get weak, your body gets frail, and by staying inside too much and not going outside and being in the sunlight, working with the ground, getting too far away from the dirt, not understanding where our food was raised, and everything else that's involved in gardening and horticulture and tree service and everything else that God brings through nature, when we lose that world and get stuck inside talking about everybody else all the time, then, you know, we're losing half of our life. A lot of people are scared to death just to go near woods.
But that's the sunlight. How are you fighting to get closer to God's light?
How do you get closer to God's light?
How are you fighting every day to be close to God's light?
By putting your eyes, whenever you put your eyes up, you're looking up into God's light. When you put your eyes up to somebody that you believe in or you think is higher than you believe in them, you're putting your eyes up. When you put your eyes down, when your eyes are up, everything goes to your brain. When you put your eyes down, you bow your head and you pray, it goes to your heart. When you pray into your heart, then it holds on to your heart. And when it comes back out with emotion. When you put it into your brain, then it comes out, you remember it, and you use it when you need it.
Do you fight evil, Ross?
It's what's that?
Do you fight evil?
Evil is what comes as a child. The things we see in the shadow, the things we get afraid of, the things that we allow to over-dominate us in our life. That's the evil of our life.
And is it something you fight? Is that part of your daily fight?
No, I don't have a daily fight.
Oh, so you don't fight evil?
How do I fight evil?
No, sorry. You were about to say you gave up something?
No, I didn't give up anything. I just learned to look in the shadows.
So when you say you got to fight every day, that does not include fighting evil? You don't fight?
No, just you fight up to go back out in society and continue to work.
Yeah, against the laziness, against the weakness, against the whatever's dragging you down.
See, the machine in many ways is your weakness, because what a machine will do is it'll make your job so easy that it's like it's not a job anymore. You're just in another house that you're sitting in now. Like in the olden days, you had to get out and dig with a shovel. Even though you had a shovel, it's still better than your hand, right? So as the tools progress through time, from arrowheads and sticks to shovels and rakes to backhoes and who knows what they got now, lasers, time just changes. And, changing times is new, everything's new. And it takes the old generation a lot longer time to get caught up to the younger generation, because you guys are getting equipped with the new and latest stuff coming out, and we seem like the slow pokes, but we're not really slow. We're just more methodical.
Interesting, Ross. Man, thank you for that, sir. Anything else you want to say here before we move the wheels?
What do you think about the circle and the square?
Well, it's something I only ever heard from you, and I took it as how do I put this? I just took it as best as you put it, right? I took it how I took it, which is like we're born a certain way, but the world forces us to be a different way, a way that's inauthentic, maybe a way that's not how we're meant to be, and that's really all I think that's really all I thought you were expressing to me that I could take. And so I asked you, how do you overcome that? And that's kind of what we talked about there. If you ask me to give a final thought, maybe And I was thinking about your words on fighting, and just fighting and all that. And I understood you better throughout the call. It doesn't sound like you wanted to fight evil and all that, because it made me think about how the Bible says to not resist evil. Do not resist evil. And
if you resist, you won't learn, right?
Interesting, Ross.
Yeah, don't you have to learn from evil so that you can understand it first?
Well, I think you have to overcome evil, is what the Bible also says, with good.
Well,
but yeah.
Evil most of the time isn't evil. Most of the time, somebody takes possession of something that isn't theirs.
Say that one more time for me.
Isn't evil most of the time somebody taking possession of something that isn't theirs?
Yeah, that sounds evil, because I think that sounds evil. Yeah, to take trying to possess something not yours.
If you
Sure.
think of God, and you do believe in God, because we all have the spark of life in us, and God made this whole planet and this whole universe and everything, right? When you think of Him, you don't think of evil, but everything in an animal world has its circle, if you know what I mean. It has a mother, it has a son and a daughter, and then they fight and kill what they got to kill in the wild to live their life in their circle, and they continue to do that. But they don't complain because they don't know how to speak English. If you know how to speak cat or giraffe or whatever the animal may be, they may have something else to say.
Well, Ross, I do appreciate your call, man. Can you call me again?
Yeah, I will.
Nice. Take care, sir.
All right. Take care.
If you think about it in a certain way, geometrically, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, geometrically, people, we're just really complicated tubes, right? The tube begins at our mouth and it ends, right? It's like a tube all the way, right? All the way to our end. It's kind of open all the way through, right? And it's just like, we're a toroid. We're a very complicated toroid, if you look at it some way. Don't worry, it's not that deep, okay? We're trying to make sense of things that maybe don't make sense. I was thinking, Nick really having fun torturing us. I was just thinking, right, like, fighting. That's something I can latch onto. There's something there. Y'all fighting in life? Made me think about the Bible a little bit. Okay, the Anchor Baby might know a little bit about the Bible, just a little bit. I ain't no tube, Nick. What the F? Am I wrong? We're like a tube. We're a tube. Okay, we're a tube. And anything that enters the tube, what does the Bible say about the tube? Nick is a toroidist. Okay. Everybody wants to give me an ism and an ist. Okay, I'm a toroidist. I'm a existentialist. What did the guy say? What did Alan say? Dispensationalist. I don't know what that is. What does the Bible say about the tube again? Anything that enters the tube does not defile it. Where is that in the Bible? It's not exactly like that, right, folks? You're referring to something Jesus said in the Gospels, Mark 7. There is nothing outside a person that by going into him can defile him, but the things that come out of a person, are what defile him. That's pretty deep, right? Mark 7. That which defiles it. That's NIV. Hold on. We got issues with NIV? I don't know. How we feeling, chat? There is nothing that enters a man from outside which can defile him. See, this is the verse about the tube. We're a tube. It didn't say tube. But, that's just their digestive system. Whoa. Not that. Oopsies. Where'd he go? This is learning music. World music. You remember when they used to call music world music? It's like a genre category. Is that still a thing? World music, you know. You put some like pan flutes and Indian tabla, and it's like world music. They came together unto him, the Pharisees, and certain of the scribes, and we'll get back to calls after this, which came from Jerusalem. And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashen hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands oft, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders. And when they come from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And many other things there be, which they have received to hold, as the washing of cups and pots, brazen vessels, and of tables. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, Why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashen hands? He answered and said unto them, Well hath Esaias prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, This people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other things like ye do. He said unto them, Full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own tradition. For Moses said, Honor thy father and thy mother. For whoso curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, If a man shall say to his father, It is Corbin, is where are we? This is the whole thing. Hold on. And he saith unto them, Are ye so without understanding also? Do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him? Yeah, he's talking about mere actions and the outside. You ate unclean meat. You didn't wash your hands. He's like, but what about your heart? Because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the draught, purging all meats. I don't know why I'm talking like a street preacher. And he said, That which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. It's pretty interesting, you know. I mean, the Bible's, Jesus' words is kind of full of that. The inner versus the outer. And that whole thing. Heaven is within, not in your little rules. But you will follow the rules, the real true rules. You'll be like chill. You're not gonna like go around killing. I want to get to SoCal. We got SoCal on the air, and I believe this is Anthony, man. Thanks for your call. Oh, hold on. Anthony, SoCal on the air. I think we're trying to get him on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, am I coming through okay?
Yes, that's just my little system here. Apologies. Go ahead.
No worries, man. No worries. You know, Amazon web services, it's down today, so I got sent home early. So I figured I could call on the show and see what's going on. Yeah, are you guys having any issues on your end with your systems, or are you guys independent from Amazon services?
You know what? Yeah, there was like an issue on Punchy TV earlier, which we resolved and was able to because we're not. I don't even know if it doesn't matter to say. I think you could see that publicly. But yeah, we don't use Amazon there for certain things. And I'm trying to think. I personally have not had any issues, but yeah, that sounds like a big deal, though. How could something like that happen?
Yeah, you know, I have no idea. Honestly, I'm not that deep in the food chain, but it's not even engineers really have any control over it. It seems like something happening off the top. But so I had the opportunity to call in, but I was curious. I was listening to the caller before, the Tubular Man, which is pretty interesting. I enjoy that.
Me too.
What was his whole point about Obama and all that jazz?
I have to say I don't know. You're not talking about Alan. My first caller.
Yeah, I think that was his name.
Oh yeah, he. Okay, so I believe he was basically saying that essentially, you know, because he's supposed Trump is a felon. Essentially, they're saying he went after him with all these indictments. How can you support that? And he's going after his enemies. But my thinking is, but if they did something wrong, right, like Obama, you know, investigate that and all that. I forget the exact details of that, how investigated it already is. But essentially, he's like, he doesn't buy it, essentially. And that's what it was. He doesn't really buy anything about Obama spying, and I believe that's why Obama came up.
Right, gotcha. I see. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I think the libs were one step ahead. You know, basically, it's I don't know if you guys remember, but like, geez, for the past 10, maybe 8 years, just constant bombardment from CNN, MSNBC about this idea of Nazi dictator, wants to prosecute his opponents, just saying Trump does all these things. And what's interesting is the left, the Democrats, they were almost like, it seemed like they were foreseeing that Trump was going to try to weed out, you know, like he said, drain the swamp. In other words, charge corrupt government officials and prosecute them to the fullest extent, you know, as much as he can. And so the media, it seems like they got one step ahead, and they were just bombarding us with, he's going to do all these things, you know, prosecute all these people. And it's kind of interesting because now we have, if someone is truly guilty and Trump goes out and prosecutes them, he's condemned as a dictator for it. You know, it's like, it's
I see the game, yeah.
Controlled. Yeah, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, they set up this paradigm for so long. And now you have kids like Alan calling in, just totally oblivious to, you know, he's a young guy. You know, we were all dumb liberals at one point. And, you know, he's still learning, and he's just currently being exposed to it, and he's in the middle of it. So,
right.
You know, he doesn't, you know, it's kind of what it sounds like, but, so he has no idea about the total brainwashing that's been going on for the past decade. And I think Art touched on this during Hake's segment a bit. You know, I love Art's call. I hope he calls into your show sometime.
Yeah, he's back. Nice. I haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, I like him, man. That's a smart guy.
Yeah, he's in my intro. He's the one who's saying he's the one in my intro who says, and we still rolling with Trump. When my little Anchor Baby intro goes.
Yeah, that's sweet, dude. We need more folks like that calling in. You know, just he has a self-awareness. He's aware of what the media is doing and the effects it has on people. But you know, one thing I want to bring up with little boy Obama is are you familiar with his modification of the Smith-Mundt Act? It wasn't him directly, but he approved of it.
No.
In 2012.
No, I'm not familiar. Never heard that.
So it's the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act of 2012, and if you research it, you'll see like total propaganda online saying saying all these things from these fact-checking websites saying, oh, it wasn't a law that allowed the United States to use propaganda on its own people. It wasn't passed by Obama. Just complete propaganda, which is the irony of it. But if you look into it, basically it's a modification to a previous law. I think it came out in the 40s or 50s. But basically what they did in the 40s or 50s, they created commentators will say it's like a firewall between media within the United States and foreign media. So basically, the State Department has the opportunity to like show a different picture to the outside world than they do to domestic media outlets. So it's basically a way. In other words, it's a way to propagandize foreign nations, or kind of like paint their own narrative for our own interests to foreign nations. That was the origin of the bill. But in 2012, little boy Obama, what he did was he basically tore down that firewall so that the State Department is able to essentially control the narrative within the United States in the same way that they could with foreign nations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm following. So, yeah, they developed the act to regulate these broadcasting programs for foreign audiences. And these programs are specifically ones, under the guidance of the State Department. So, like you said, you could call it propaganda. And so they have a whole act regulating these materials. But it's initially prohibited the domestic dissemination of these materials. But in 2012, like you brought up, this act was amended, which allowed for materials produced by the State Department and the Broadcasting Board of Governors to be made available within the United States.
You hit it on the head, exactly.
Yeah, I'm reading the Wikipedia thing on that. But yeah, this summarizes exactly what you just said.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, if you go into other sources, it will say more or less that Obama didn't pass it, or that it's something that doesn't affect domestic media policies. But if you read the what was passed by Congress, it's all in there. You could just Control F, So since 2012, since little boy Obama came in office and changed these things, he created a playing field where the American public is basically a guinea pig to whatever narrative the State Department wants to push. So we have Obama's State Department, we have Biden's State Department. We know that when Trump was in office, the State Department was totally against him, and he couldn't even trust his own cabinet members because they were basically compromised. He's fighting an uphill battle. The liberals don't understand that because they've been basically brainwashed for a little over a decade with these policies Obama's passed, and
maybe propagandized by the weakened Smith-Mundt Act.
Exactly, and you never hear about these things. Like no one in the media is saying, "Hey, did you know that we have the ability to basically feed you whatever propaganda we want?" Because you have to ask. And I went down this rabbit hole, like when I was asked myself, over the past 6-7 years, when you see MSNBC and CNN with these ludicrous headlines, you ask yourself, how the heck are they allowed to do this? Like how are they allowed to just blatantly lie on TV to all these people, and these libs eat it up like candy? And so that's where I found the Smith-Mundt Act. It's totally legalized. So, I think the origin of it, it's interesting. I think the origin of it was, maybe it was Eisenhower, but he started Voice of America, which people thought was like a public news broadcasting station for international news, but it was actually a CIA front. So it was totally being used by the intelligence agencies to control, international rhetoric or narratives. So that's, I have nothing to say about that. I don't know what their agenda is, but at least within the United States, that's when I asked myself, so here's my question for you, Nick. To what extent can you even blame these liberals for having these nutty positions? You know what I mean? It's like, is it really their fault?
That's an interesting question. And I mean, I have this general, I personally, I feel like I maintain this personal internal posture ever since kind of getting into politics and all that, and knowing just how controlled people are, how, you're just like a mouthpiece for something greater, or a spirit, so to speak. And so it's hard for me to judge people or really get too passionate about this kind of stuff. Just kind of like when I see something that's just true, it's just so glaringly true. I can't help but bring it on the show and we talk about it, but I find it hard to, judge them. And so to answer, I mean, in a sense, who's at fault really? I mean, I still don't like give them no fault. Like I bring this up a lot. I feel like it almost fits here as well. The drug dealer and the drug user conundrum in a picture, so to speak. I mean, they're both at fault. You're at fault for allowing yourself to be propagandized, allowing yourself to be susceptible in a sense to, right? And this may have happened well before the event, the drug was offered to you, the propaganda was offered to you, but in some way, shape, or form, you kind of arrive to where you are, right? And it's like, that's not God's fault. That's not nature's fault. It's us. It's man. It's like it happened to us. But whatever. Like, I think they're both at fault, essentially. Yeah. There's definitely something to be put on the propagandizers. They have an agenda, and they got their shock troops. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. It's. I mean, I think the guy said he was like 22, so I don't think he was even old enough to know what was going on when Obama was in office, but
right,
he's doing a lot.
That's
of
right,
dude.
With Allen in particular, yeah. Go on, yeah. Young, yeah. I don't know where he got that from. You're right.
Yeah, and I don't say this to attack him, but it's mainly like when Zenny calls in or like these young guys call in. I don't call to attack them. I call because I kind of resonate with their delusion. And I kind of just want to like try to set them straight because I don't think anyone else, will. They just go online, they go in the media, and they'll find someone that agrees with just ridiculous claims. So I'm just, and I'm not like I'm presenting factual things you could look into, research. You could see, oh wow, yeah, it looks like one of my presidents did pass a bill that allows the media to brainwash me. I wonder why. And the whole thing with, Trump was clearly being targeted by the Justice Department at the time.
Yeah.
Clearly. I mean, you made really good points. I mean, what would you say his best argument was against, your points that he was, against the witch hunt? What would you say his? Because I joined the stream
what was
kind
his
of late, but
what was his best point on? Oh yeah, well, it's weird because he also said I agree it was a witch hunt at the beginning, but don't you think that with enough judges looking at this, they eventually saw the truth and that there was something to go after? It's funny he had even admitted that. He said, yeah, it was a witch hunt at the beginning, but his reasoning is like eventually though, this is legitimate because this had to go through a number of judges and they're not all witch hunting him. And so, ergo, right, the reasoning is it's like it has to be legit because look, he got indicted, but whatever. I mean, I think that was his, I think that was his argument essentially, that it was legal, that it was essentially, that's legal. It's and all that, and so maybe that was his strongest argument for that it's legal. I mean, it's legal and it happened. It's legal and it happened. How how can you say otherwise? I'm not even that familiar with that stuff, so I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, my understanding is that when Biden got in office, and I don't want to use the term of deep state, that'll probably make him think I'm a nut. But when Biden was in office, did he not replace the Supreme Court judges? Did he not individually select the rulers of the law of the Supreme Court, of the highest court in the nation? I mean,
didn't he promise it would be a black woman?
Or
no, he promised that would be the vice president.
No, I think he did. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I forgot which one he promised. I'm not sure if he made the claim about the black woman being a Supreme Court judge, but he did switched them out, or maybe not him in particularly, but whoever was working under him switched them out, and then they started going after Trump. So isn't that interesting? I mean, so yeah, it's, you know, I get where he's coming from. You know, saying it's he was indicted, but you'd have to ignore the whole entire backdrop of the circumstances leading up to it, which is intellectually dishonest. So
yeah, you got to zoom right in. You're so right about that. Yeah, it's like, well, he's going after his enemies. You got to zoom in to like, well, what about the whole thing they brought up? They turned it all over. They turned it all upside down to go after him when people were voting for him. It was democracy in action, and they hated it.
You're totally right, and you know, last thing I'll say is, man, you know, people really didn't, you know, remember how people like burning up Teslas and doing all this mess? I seriously, you know what Elon did with USAID? When they looked into that, they were they were selling weapons, they were laundering money, they were involved in all sorts of mess. USAID, you know, and then all of a sudden Elon, you know, he goes hands off. You know, stuff like that pisses me off sometimes, because I'm thinking, you know, we finally got some guys that want to make a change, want to, you know, clean things up, and they touch one thing. They touch one NGO out of hundreds. They find a whole mess, and then it's hands off. It's like you touch the fire. You know, what is
like,
this?
What are you saying there? Are you saying he should have continued, or it's just, or that they?
I'm saying, I think
I'm having an autism moment.
What I'm saying is, no, I'm kind of dancing between idea. You know, I'm not pushing.
No problem. Go ahead.
The point, but I think he clearly not pissed someone off. He found corruption that is managed at a much higher level than the president or even private interests like Musk, basically.
Gotcha.
So I think it's something that not even, you know, the president has a hand in. So it seems like he just had to back off. Otherwise, I mean, once you find, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. Why wouldn't you keep pushing it? Why wouldn't you investigate every single NGO? You know.
Yeah, I forget what exactly went down with that, but I forget. You know, there was like he wasn't able to really.
Yeah, I got memory hold, man.
Yeah, now that I'm really thinking about it, I don't really know. It's like I think he wasn't able to, like Musk or whatever, wasn't able to really stop the money how he really wanted to. And if you think about it, it's probably, I mean, yeah, sure, you have the NGOs and the aid, but where's all our money really being spent? It's these social programs, right? Like, what do they call it? Mandatory spending on these programs, and like what? The military. So, which is to say, the deep state that you're talking about, or you didn't say, but you know, it's like that's where the money is, right? That's where the money's getting spent. And I know Trump is in the executive, and it's like, okay, you gotta make things happen in certain ways, and you got your hands on the controls, and maybe some of those controls is that fat deep state stuff. And hey, I trust Trump, but we got a big monster in there, so to speak. And so yeah, the funding of the NGOs and the little programs here and there, but the big, where do we do our most spending, right? Social programs like welfare and all that, and the military. And so that's where we got our swamp monsters, essentially. That's how I gather.
Yeah, you're right, but it's you're broadly speaking, categorically yes, but it's not. The money's not even going to like the people. If Elon made this beautiful website that showed every single transaction that he investigated, he had an itemized list of all the government spending within USAID. And it was like $1 million grants going to some random organization, or $1 million salaries going to like some random clerk. And you have hundreds of them, you know? So it's not like this money is going to like a welfare program that's going into someone's hands, you know, an American's hands or pocket. It's more like the welfare program is just a cover up to just like I don't know what they're doing with the money, bro. It's corrupt, man.
Yeah, they're not. It's not going to the homeless. Yeah, it's not fixing
website.
this, people. Yeah, it's not fixing it.
Yeah, because clearly, isn't it? Yeah, and if it was going to them, we know it wouldn't get fixed anyways.
That's
know?
a great
so
point.
It's just it's a total money hole, and you know it's kind of bizarre because I don't know. Last thing I'll ask you is it's almost like you have to be you get a little jaded. You know, you realize who else is going to do it besides Trump? You know, if Trump can't. If he can't dig deep into this, is it just going to stay this way? You know, what do you think? Do you have to adopt a jaded outlook on just the government in general, similar to when Hake talks to Brandy about suing all these people or whatever? Hake's position was like, hey, look, it's like the world is evil. You just got to step back. And focus on yourself.
Yeah.
Or do you think we actually have an opportunity to like push this deeper? What do you think?
I think the answer to that lies somewhere with what I put it like this. You're speaking on that which is truly needed for what this movement, so to speak, desires. The saving of the West, the saving of America, making America great again. It's not a single euphoric, ecstatic moment, right? It's
good point.
It's like when the ecstatic, almost use the O word, moment happens, right? Of politics. Oh yeah, we won the election. What's it gonna take? I mean, is that right? What is it again? Save the West, save America. Yeah, that's more than a single ecstatic, euphoric moment. That's what you're speaking on. I believe that's at the core of it. And what does that mean? It means all these people that have been watching and following and like, I want America back and I vote for Trump, or even otherwise, but they want that. It starts with them. It starts with them. What are they right? Do we have our people in these politics? Do we have our people in these institutions, or whatever it may be in the future? Where are these individuals, and are they right in the essential? Are they in the essential areas for this? I mean, and I don't really have the answer, but I think it starts there. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'll wrap up with that. I'm just happy Trump's in office, man. I mean, I can't believe it's been less than a year, and just last year we had these migrants from S-hole countries in New York, and now they're looking at a new S-hole mayor in New York. So that's like going to be the new Gotham City. But can you believe? I can't believe
Gotham.
that, dude. Could you believe Biden was importing just these military-aged men into New York and these random states in the Midwest, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Bussing them around.
I can't believe that, dude.
Far from the border. In places that, if I remember, it was like even like not like the cities, like rural areas. And where are the rural areas? Those, how America, how the voting map looks. When you really divided up the counties, it's like these big blue cities and all these red counties around it. Where were they putting these people? Not in the cities. Yeah, the cities too, but because there's so many, could it be also a conspiracy like against those red counties and white people? Maybe. I mean, you don't have to take it there. There's so many, they're putting them there too. But that's what happened. That's the absolute truth.
Yeah, man. I would be filling up 5-star 4-star hotels with people that just that dude. I can't believe I'm so happy it's gone, but it just sometimes I have to realize that like things could get bad. Things were getting bad. They were, and we're looking at thank goodness, I don't know what this guy Gavin is doing in California, talking to Trump like we don't want him in San Francisco. I mean, dude, these people are nuts, Nick. It's insane.
I don't know what's next.
I remember when I was in college. Yeah, I was going to class at 8 a.m. I was seeing people with needles in their arms hunched over on my way to class in the morning. This is in Berkeley area, dude. These people have no idea what's going, the hellhole they have in these cities. San Francisco, it's, hopefully Trump gets in there, man. Anyways, Nick,
it's one of those things, man. So we still got a few years with Trump. Hopefully he does the best he can, but then we'll see what happens, man. Beyond that, it's like the party's over. There's no fanfare, euphoria. It's like, what are the individuals doing? And then, the politics will continue, and I just don't know. It's looking like it's a Vance future. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it all means, but we're watching, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's looking like that's when they talk about Trump beyond Trump, it seems like the setup is Vance and like maybe others. I really don't know. I don't know if even Trump even thinks that personally. I like to think what he set in motion is like, right? It's like sure, maybe Vance is what we have right now, but something else deeper that's yet to come in a sense, right? Like it's a longer, I'm thinking of a long haul in a sense, right? Saving America and all that. It's like farther than 4 years and whatever. We'll see what happens in a sense.
Dang. Yeah, you're right. All right, Nick.
Sir, Anthony, call me again, man.
More of your time.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds good, sir. Have a great week, guys.
Take care. Trump 2028, says Carver. That's an option. Let's not forget. We need to AI clone Trump is consciousness. That's what they're working for, folks. That's what the Palantir, okay, they're digitizing Trump. I'm making this up. They're digitizing Trump for a Trump 2028. Hey, it's not really him. It's technically a new person. 2027, they classify AI creations as people. Yes, it'll be a double-edged sword. It'll be a brand new future, and many won't be happy. They'll be criticizing Trump. Many of his supporters will be pushed to their end. The apologists, right? Like, I'll go on my show and be like, it's a fine. No, I'm joking. Okay. And they're going to create God Emperor Trump. And it's a possible reality. I'm just talking ish. Okay, we'll get back to my calls, 844-900-2229 in the last bit of the show. I want to quickly check something here. Thanks all my lovely viewers. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. Live everywhere. Of course on YouTube. I want to see here. I think I'm getting a couple of super chats here. Very nice. And then back to calls and all that. Thank you so much. Harmony says union dues. #union dues. Appreciate that. Dabble Jack says, Nick, when you putting in your resume to be a pastor, you should be a preacher. Basically says Dabble Jack. What do you guys think? Should I go out street preaching? Live stream street preaching? I mean, sometimes I want to do the exact thing like we say, like you shouldn't do. Not that we shouldn't do. We don't say that, but we've criticized that. Christians going around in spaces where they not welcome preaching. Like, you think that's Christian? You think that God wants you to do that? Sometimes I want to do exactly that, but not because I want to go save souls. I just think it'd be good content. Nick, you don't want to save souls? But thank you for that. Dabblejack, thank you. Appreciate that. Renes, you with the coffee's coming in strong. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. I had to get this out before the Vaughn's deli clerk found out, but time does exist, says Renesio. To be objective now in the present, we have to be aware of the past. There is no now without before. Interesting, Renesio. Fascinating, sir. Renesio says time does in fact exist. For there to be a now, there had to be a before. Interesting, Renession. There had to be a before. There is no now without before. But where is the before in the now? Just a question. I'm not trying to. I'm not like. I remember VR hot dog preaching. Wasn't that fun, Carver? I bet you I could do that in a better, like even less autistic mentality. That was fun. Come on. What do you guys think? I'm going to get right back to calls. But yeah, Renesio, interesting. Just a question. I mean, I'm not even saying you're wrong. Where is the before in the now? Out of curiosity. It's a question that came to me. Whoa. Oops. Thank you, rumble.com/American Anchor, baby. Shout out to y'all. I'm shouting out everything today. Once I shouted out white people and got that response, I don't know what happened. 844-900-2229. I want to get to... Let me see here. Who's been holding here the longest? We got Arizona on the air, I believe. Your name and where you're calling from. Hold on. Hold on, Arizona. Okay,
Hi.
Arizona on the air. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hold on. Hi, my name is Eric from Arizona.
Eric, man, thanks for your call. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I just wanted to... JFK, do you mind if I say what JFK had a speech? I already said it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he had a speech all about what was being done in secret. And the caller before you had mentioned that Elon Musk had maybe stumbled onto things that were greater than the government that we can see. Some call that the shadow government. Mm-hmm. And if it is true that there's a shadow government, then there has to be somebody to fund that government. And that's what JFK had talked about in that speech. What is done, I don't know what the name of the actual speech is, but basically it is what's done in secret. Basically, it cannot be done because if the American people don't know about it, then it's something that is against them fundamentally, right? It would be treasonous. That's the way I see it at the end of the day. And he has a whole speech about it. And remember, the man gave his life. There's only a few people that they attempt to kill in this country, and those are the ones that want to give the power back to the people, and even abolish the Federal Reserve and put us back on a gold standard. And that's one of the reasons why he died.
Interesting, man. I'm somewhat familiar with those words.
Thanks for, yes.
Yeah, and I'm just looking it up too now. Is AI right when they say that it's often referred to as a secret society speech? Is that true, or is that like? I would
click on that.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweigh the dangers which are cited to justify it. I'm somewhat familiar with that, but not deeply. Very interesting, man. JFK's
Amen.
Speech here.
Amen.
Yeah.
Can I mention something about gerrymandering?
Yeah, man, for sure.
Briefly, I just think that it's a way for this shadow government, and we've had communists in this country since the 30s. The Frankfurts have been in our colleges. I just thought it was a way to divide and conquer. Ultimately, I think that some people on one side took the bait, just like the other people on the other side took the bait. And I just think that when we isolate, you want to call them cultures, you want to call them color, whatever. When you isolate them within one country, you open them for tyranny. You open them to race hustlers on one end. You open them up to extremists on the other. But you divide that people and you open them up. So in the art of war, that's how you conquer a people.
That's deep.
I'll let you go, man. Maybe just squeeze in another one.
Hey, man, thank you. Awesome. Call me again, sir.
You're welcome. Yes, sir. Bye.
844-900-2229. Very cool. We got William, California on the air.
My man. Like your boy Denzel say, my ninja.
Yes, sir.
Hey, caller right there was actually really, really on point. It's a deep state. It's been going on for a long time and everything. But I'm going to shuffle it along as fast as I can so you can get somebody in there. We could use a call from Artie Yard. Too smart. I've experienced for the first time, I try to stay out of the way of this stuff because I tell you, man, all of this Antifa and protesting and everything, man, you're looking at 5 to 10 in jail, for messing around with the ICE agents and all of that stuff, had my first experience with that. So my brother comes into town from Vegas and everything. He pulls up on me at the Home Depot. I tell the girlfriend to meet me at my house. I'm going to get a few things. He rolls up on me and he say, "Hey, what's up, Jones?" I'm like, "Oh, there you go. There you go. What's up, little bro?" He's only 2 years younger, but, we look like twins. We're both 6'5". Well, almost 6'5". And we're both good-sized people, slim, tall. And he say, "Man, is that your girl right there in the car?" The car is surrounded. They're protesting at the Home Depot.
Oh, man.
And this is my first time dealing with them. You know what, man? Like this little caller you had, they're weird, dude. They're either really short or really fat and dumpy. They're not opposing at all and everything. And my brother was like, man, that's your woman, man. Let's drive around the parking lot, man, and flank them. And I looked at my brother. I said, flank them? It's been a long time since we've engaged, man.
Suddenly memories are flowing back to you.
Yeah. Well, this is two brothers looking at each other like two little devils, right? And I'm looking to come in the car with him, and I'm like, let's go around there and beat the brakes off of him.
Oh.
I'm like, no, man, we can't do that. We can get in trouble for that, dude. He goes,
that's illegal.
We can beat the brakes off of him. Yeah, he said we can. That's a 911. That's 7-minute wait. He said, we can beat the brakes off of him in 6 minutes. Let's go over there and beat the brakes off of him. I said, no, man. But we walked up on him and everything, and we told him, he said, man, you know what, man, let her go. Let her go. They are not all that. This is my first time, and I know they're all Antifa and all. They're scroungy as hell.
There's something rejects, so to speak, maybe sometimes.
There's something else, man. I mean, I'm not looking at my brother. He wants to go. And I'm like, man, we way too old for that. No. He's like, no, man, let's beat the brakes off.
A little honesty.
Yeah, he was like, let's beat the brakes off there. It's been a while, haven't it? I said, I'm getting devilish. I'm like, yeah, it has been a while. He said, you take the 3, I take the 2. I said, no, you take the 2, I take the 3. He said, well, who's on first, who's on second? I said, well, what if they still home? He said, you beat the brakes off of them. Yeah, I didn't want that, man, because they're in enough trouble as it is. They're in enough trouble. And this No Kings protest that they did throughout the country was very, very unsuccessful.
Sorry, in what way?
It was very unsuccessful.
I was trying to find them. I missed them. I missed them on Saturday.
I ran into it in the Home Depot parking lot out here in Manteca, and my brother wasn't happy. My younger brother he's a fool, and I say, nah, man, we can't do that, man. I say, man, they're already in enough trouble. They're already in enough trouble, interfering with arrest and all of that stuff, and then they put it on IG. They put themselves on social media and tell you who they are. Nick, they're not all that.
Not
they
the
are dangerous.
Tool, maybe.
Look what happened to Charlie Kirk and Trump and everything, but we still rolling. And I want to let it go after this so we can get another caller or two in and everything.
That's good. So you were able to get out your vehicle though, and
we came out of our vehicle and walked up on my girl's vehicle, and my brother was in business. He was standing on business. He said, man, hey, Jones, better get out the way. I say, man, hold on, Jones. He say, man, no, Will, man, let's just do this. I said, no, But they're not all that. They're really not all that. They're having a fit, and it's like these couple of calls you got today where it's like, stuff don't even mean anything. What are you talking about? Who's that other cat earlier? This stuff don't mean nothing.
It's weird,
And your
man. You
point
bring it
is-
to. Go ahead.
You know what I said? And the point is nothing.
Right.
So I told my brother, leave him alone. Leave him alone. I said, man, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Let's get them to get out of her way and everything, and we're going to leave this alone. But he was ready. He's like, man, let's go beat the brakes off of him. The brakes? You mean the brake? That's been a while since we did that. He said, man, let's do it.
I haven't heard
Let's
that.
do it.
Yeah, that's
Hey, I told him, I said,
beating the brakes.
I said, what you... This is my only brother. We're only two.
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
Hey man, he said, I looked at him, I did like this. I said, well, Pops is gone now. Well, what do you think Pops would say? He did like this. He goes, Pops would tell us to get out the truck and go beat the brakes off of him.
The brakes, beat the brakes off
The
someone.
brakes off of him. Ask Artie Art. He know about that. Beat the brakes off of him. That's a country.
Google
tale
says
with it.
Google says that's a slang idiom that comes from AAVE. Are you familiar with AAVE?
No.
Apparently, it's a term. It means African American
It's a
vernacular
term. I've heard it
English.
before. Yep. Yeah, that's where it comes from. Yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
know you
boy.
were
Well, let's
fluent
get
in.
somebody-
I didn't know you were fluent in AAVE.
Well,
I gotta
hey,
study. I gotta study personally. How about that?
Yeah. All right, man. Well, you go ahead, man. And
Yeah.
try to get somebody.
Willie, man,
And,
thanks for your call.
Great show.
Call me
Great
again.
show. Thank you. All right.
Hey, that's what Google told me. Beat the brakes off that fool. I disavow. Amazing. Now, what else do I have for y'all? I mean, we the topic spawned a number of calls, and we've been just doing calls, right? The temperature, Secret Service, going after enemies, Letitia, Bondi, fiasco, gerrymandering, voting rights, Jimmy Kimmel, back and forth, no kings. It's kind of been the topic. What else do I have in this packet for you? How about something different? Let me look through this. Something different. Let's switch it up. What do we have here? Oh, I had another drummer. I wanted to show you. You know, on Friday, it's like, I showed you that drummer. Man, I have a bunch of cool stuff. Wait, hold on. RFK Jr. and circumcision, Tylenol and autism. Yeah, it's all connected. RFK, circumcision, Tylenol, autism, Rome, Jerusalem. It's all connected. Okay, we'll have to do that another time, though. We do not have the time for that. It's all connected, bro. We'll have to come back to that one. Maybe when the sun goes down. Okay, you guys are playing my show out loud, and it's like an hour on circumcision and RFK Jr. What? Nick, I'm trying to have a normal day here. So we'll leave that for another time. Hold on. Vance carrying the baby? I guess that's kind of silly and funny. But it's not. It's actually the destruction of America, maybe. Possibly. Like, he's like maybe he's like all right, too. Like, oh, no. I saved the wrong link. Where did I put it? Maybe it's this one. You know, like, I gather when I see this, I see him as maybe as weak as the next guy. And I think the next guy can still be maybe a fine politician in some sense. But it's not a good look, I don't think. And I think it speaks to the deeper thing. That which has happened to the man. That which has happened to the man. The usurping of the order on display. I know that J.D. Vance, he's got his Bambinos. He goes around. I don't know why he has to go everywhere with her and his kids. I mean, they seem to be having fun, running away, right? Hey, race you to the building or something, right? Race you to the whatever. And I guess he comes out. Maybe he had to hold him. Maybe he just wouldn't calm down with anybody but Daddy, right? Daddy's the authority. Daddy's the love. Daddy's whatever. But still, you telling me you can't hold? You can't. What are you doing here, Usha? What are you just sitting there like? Oh, I'm just having a chat with this female here, lady here. She's also working. We're just having a chat. So why do we have you there? JD Vance supposed to be race you to the sniper's nest. Hey, that's not funny. Why are you here then, Usha? Why do we have you here? What is your job? What is your directive here? He's the vice president. He's definitely got a job. Why are you here? Oh, I'm just chatting it up with Beth over here. So you're not doing anything? What is your job here? You're not even holding the kid? Why do we have you here? Why are you here? And this is maybe a criticism. It has to be on JD too, on Vance. Where's the order? I don't see it. Where's the order in the home? Nick, you're judging on just a little clip. You're going to tell me I'm crazy? You're going to tell me I'm crazy? This is all connected, bro. And he's walking in front and all that. You're going to call me I'm crazy? This is connected. I don't know, folks. I don't like it, but I got to go. In fact, I should have gone. Oops. I should have left a while ago. Oh, gee, I didn't know that. Oopsies. I got to run like for realsies. I should have left a while ago. James, I can still make it. All right, folks. I got to go. I hope you enjoyed the show. It's been a pleasure. I'll be back with you tomorrow. More American Anchor, baby. Sorry, callers. We'll get to all of you tomorrow. Appreciate it, folks. Take care. Peace. Sorry, super chatters or anything. I think I got them all, but I really got to run. Peace. Take care. See you tomorrow.